Live on the Bonnie Bay Crochet YouTube channel. I'm trying something a little bit differently this week, guys. I have a microphone that's a lot better, and I'm going to do a little test here just to see. Let me see. I just want to see once I go live here if it's okay. Hannah, if you are listening, hold on, hold on. Let's skip that. Give me 1 second, guys. I just want to make sure that we are up. Okay, testing, testing. Okay, sounds good. All right. I was, in case those of you who aren't familiar with working sound and film and stuff like that, audio is hard. It's hard to get it right, but I'm hoping you can hear me better this week. I just have a brand new Rode mic that I'm using for the broadcast, so fingers crossed. It's kind of a funny story. I was testing it this week and I tested fine, and then I tested it again yesterday. And at one point, I had my dryer running, which is like double the normal voltage of electricity for every other socket. But as you know, the washer and dryer require higher voltage or amps or something like that, one of those electronic terms. And anyway, when I run the dryer, oh, thank you so much. Who was that? Hold on a second, let me check. Archer Nace, thank you so much, sweetheart. But anyway, when I was running it with my dryer going, the mic was picking up a lot of static from that high voltage, which is really weird. But anyway, I just wanted to make sure that you guys can hear. If you can't, or Hannah, if you don't mind monitoring that, if something goes wild, I want to know. Again, you guys are my guinea pigs today. This is the first time using this for a live broadcast. And just want to say a big thank you for your support, because of the income from what I do with yarn has allowed me to upgrade some equipment. So thank you, thank you, thank you. It's helping me to get another leg up so that it'll be hopefully a better broadcast, hopefully better recordings all the way around. Now, let me go ahead and say hey to some of you all. We have Jan. Jan, congratulations again. Jan, what's this? Okay, I was just reading Hannah's text. Um, um, Sorry, squirrel. I just had a squirrel moment. I was trying to understand what Hannah was texting me, but it was in regard to a family chat about Jay Leno, so totally unregarded. But anyway, somebody we follow who had another awful accident. But that's a sidetrack issue. But he is better. That's the good news. But anyway, whew, Jan was our winner of the Essential Tote Bag last week. So, and she says, has already sent it to me. I picked the gray one you have so I can be like you. Oh, Jan, how sweet. Actually, the bag, let me give it another quick plug. I don't have any information in the video description, but I do have it in last week's video description. But this is just a really cool bag. So this is the bag we're talking about. It's by the company called 31, and they've got like 8 really fantastic pockets in here so that you can carry a bunch of different yarn. Well, anyway, this is the gray bag that Jan is talking about, and she picked out the same one. You know, when I was looking at their different ones to select from, Jan, I like this one because it was just neutral, and I thought that with all the stuff that happens in a busy household, it would probably be the safest as far as staying clean. And anyway, I just thought anyway, I hope you enjoy your bag, and thank you to everyone who participated with that drawing last week. It was handled by Terry, using a different bot method of picking the winner, so it was totally random. So thank you again, and again, congratulations, Jan. Susan B says, time goes so slow when waiting for the live. Whew. You should come over here, Susan. It flies. I feel like I can never get everything in on time. But yeah, and we have Alana in our chat today. And yeah, thank you so much for being there, Alana. And oh my goodness, Janet, thank you so much. Between Janet and Terry contributing to the super chat, that brings us up to $35, I believe. Yes, let me change that. I have to keep track of this as it comes in, or my squirrely brain will not remember. Thank you, ladies. Thank you so much. That's going to be 35 towards the next crazy song. Speaking of which, remember I told you I had a sore finger from practicing? Well, the day after, it actually turned into a blood blister and popped. And I'll spare you. I was probably too much detail already, but just a lesson learned. Don't practice too much after you haven't been practicing much on the guitar. So I haven't been able to pick it up at all this week because of the soreness and the scabbing. So it's it's amazing how quickly this skin can heal, because this was the entire bottom of my finger, and it's just a little thing now. So anyway, just a word to the wise: if you haven't practiced guitar in a long time, uh, take it easy when you pick it up again, because you'll pay the price like I did. But hopefully this will heal up soon enough so I can prepare for some more in the future. And Kelly Hart says she's not going to be able to stay long. She says, I got to get my crochet patterns ready to go to the booth for tomorrow, but I will be watching and listening to the replay. Well, yay, Kelly. I wish you much success in selling your items, and listen, I hope you get a price that you deserve for them too. And yeah, don't let people talk you down. I hope you get what you are worth and more. We have Jacqueline in the chat from sunny Los Angeles. She says, pray everyone is blessed and well. Thank you, Jacqueline. Um, and uh-oh, sounds like Kelly had a coworker had some problems at work. I hope she gets better, Kelly. And we have Dawn and Brad's mom in the chat. It's always good to see you there. Oh my goodness, Audrey, thank you for that. Looks like 9 pounds. Thank you so much. I'm going to round that up to $10 to add to the chat, because I know the exchange rate is different. Where did I put this? Okay, here it is. Thank you so much for your sweet donation. So, the we just donated recently to the Shriners Hospital for Children. So the next designated donation will be for the Rancho 3M, which I've talked to y'all about this before. It's an orphanage and a Christian school for children in Guadalupe, Mexico. It's a place that my daughter and I have been back in 2006 and have been supporting before and after that. And it's a real place, real people, really excellent work happening there. And God has kept them safe through all the drug wars and everything, which is quite amazing, because it is right in the midst of all that bad stuff going on. It's the border towns in particular of Mexico can be quite challenging. So, and it is located right there, but it's like a beacon of hope in a really dark place. So thank you guys for your support. And Brat's mom says, good morning, Bonnie, Hannah, and all my yarnies. I like that term. From a very cold and overcast southwest Chicago suburb. Oh, yeah, it's cold here too. I think it might be a little bit above freezing, but right there at the, right, just a little bit above, just maybe like 38, 39. It's not that much above the freezing point here. So I know you guys are really cold in Chicago. We have Dawn Anderson. She says it's very cold here in South Dakota. Ooh, I hope you are warmer wherever you are. Oh, Dawn, stay, stay warm. That just hearing about South Dakota reminds me of reading Laura Ingalls Wilder's The Long Winter. I remember reading that aloud to my children when they were at home and younger. I thought that winter would never end in that book. If you've never read that book, it's a really good read, but read it when you're on a beach somewhere in the South and warm, because otherwise you will freeze. It is an amazing story. We have Red Hooked in our chat. Hey, Red Hooked, and Love to Craft. It's good to see you. or see you in the chat. And I see Wanda Gordon. Oh, it's so good to see you there too, from Bahama, North Carolina. And she says it's a beautiful sunny day there. I bet it's chilly. um, I know how those Carolina sunny days can be. They look beautiful. You go outside and then the wind cuts right through. Um, and let's see, we have Stephanie in the chat. And let's see, lots of encouragement going on there with for Jan. Um, and Kelly says, I'm crocheting a pot holder with 2 different colors. Oh, that's challenging. Um, yeah, and Wanda, yeah, I agree with you. I hope Kelly's sale does go well. Which reminds me, I signed up, just to let you know. Let me look at my calendar here. I didn't even write this down on my notes for today. April. Okay, April 22nd, and I think it's like from 9 to 5 or something like that. I've signed up to be at the Frederick Fiber Festival in Frederick, Maryland. So, any of you all who are in the area and want to go shopping for some pretty spectacular local yarns, check out that information. I don't have it in the video description. I will make a note to add this afterwards. But I did sign up for the spring festival, April 22nd. Happens to be Earth Day as well. I will have a stand there. I'll have all my books, and I'm going to have a lot of samples. Not going to be selling my throws here, but I do have some things, a lot of garments, sweaters, ponchos. I do have some really nice things that have even been in magazines over the years that are just in my storage bins. They have never been worn except for the modeling process. So a lot of those things will be on a hanger, will be available. A lot of them are one of a kinds, first come, first serve. So I will have them available at the Fiber Festival in April. Anything that doesn't sell there, you guys will be the first to know, because I will have them available for maybe for sale here. I'm still thinking on that, but they will be first at the Fiber Festival in Frederick. Again, April 22nd. So if you're in the Washington, D.C., Virginia, Maryland area, Delaware, that's not too far. Actually, we're just a couple hours from New Jersey. It's a nice drive, and usually April is pretty nice. And I'm also going to try to participate in the Fiber Festival in October at the same place. So if you have travel plans to the area any of those times, please look us up. Okay, I'll tell you more about the October festival. That's a long time away, and yeah, I don't know where I'm going to be at that point, to be honest with you. So anyway, but the one for April is a lot closer, and I just wanted to tell you about that real fast. And I'll have more information forthcoming in the future. Okay, and I lost my place in this chat. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, Stephanie, please. She says, I'm really sorry. I have not been able to donate. Times are getting really tight on a one-income home. Stephanie, please, and this is for everybody, never, ever, ever feel pressured to donate to this super chat. Some of the lovely ladies, do this out of the goodness of their heart. I don't solicit it. So please feel totally and completely released, okay? Never, ever, ever feel pressure to buy anything from me or to donate. Please don't, okay? And I just, hope you can, get through. I know these times are tough for a lot of people. They're tough for my kids as well. So I'm just really in a blessed position in life at this point, just to be able to help them out. And I love doing that. But yeah, please never feel pressure on any of that. I'm not an arm twister on any of this stuff. I may have things available for purchase for those who want it and have need, and that's great. It helps me to do what I do, but never ever feel pressure about any of this. I'm just glad that you're in our community, really, and that goes for everybody here. All right, I think I found my place. I am behind, but if you guys can just hang with me a bit. Well, let me go ahead, since we've been in this for 15 minutes, let me go ahead and show you what's coming on Monday. You've seen this already. The the braided the braided scarf is coming to match the braided hat, which came out this past Monday. This is, did I not grab the leaflet? Of course not. Hold on a second. Uh, okay, here we go. Just happen to have it right here. This is this design in noggins in necks. Um, Again, should you even feel like you need the leaflet, but there are 5 sets in this, and I believe it's like $8.95 or $9.95 or something like that. This is available on Amazon. It's also available at Leisure Arts. I do have the links in the video description. Um, and here's another nice picture of the scarf. And I chose this one to do because I felt like it was probably the most challenging in this leaflet. So I just wanted to get that video out. So if, again, you don't really need the written pattern, but if you want the written pattern, they are available from Leisure Arts. So this is coming on Monday. For those of you who are my watch subscribers, this is already up on the site, just to let you know. And again, this is one of those that I cannot offer the complimentary pattern for because I don't know the copyright. But I do have some things coming this month that are brand spanking new, and you will be getting those complimentary patterns as soon as I post them. Okay, and that's another thing. Let me just go ahead and just put a shameless plug in for my watch channel. The watch channel is another channel where there are items there that are not on my public YouTube channel. They are exclusive designs, and everything that I own, for the most part, that I own the copyright to, that is on that channel. You can download the complimentary pattern. There is a subscription cost. It's $6.95 per month or $69.50 per year, which is about a 2-month savings for those of you who do the math. And where I was going to go with this. Oh yeah, it's totally ad free. It's spam free. I do not sell any personal information. I don't do. I make that a policy just across the board. But no organization, no platform is going to. Let's just say any tracking is never shared with anybody beyond me. So just to let you know. And there are free patterns, I should say complimentary patterns, and you do have early access many times to patterns, and there's some exclusive designs there that will never be public. So just to let you all know. And it's just kind of fun for me, I think, to be able to watch something without interruptions. And you have that there totally. So if that's something you're interested in, you can check it out. If you don't like it, you can cancel. It works very easily like that. You just go in and change your status on your account, and you can easily get in and out. I will say that if you purchase the year, that's different. If you're going to purchase the year, you're committed for the year. So if you just wanted to check it out month by month, that might be the thing that you want to do if you're not quite sure. All right. What else do we have here? Oh yeah, February 6th, I'll be rolling out the new series called All About Yarn. And I'm going to be answering basic questions as well as more complex questions on yarn, just in general. So I hope you enjoy that series. They're going to be, short videos, probably 15 to 20 minutes, no more than that, hopefully, with each one. It's taking me a lot of prep time to work on this and to learn new things myself. But I'm also just trying to be very basic about it as well, because it can be overwhelming becoming a new crocheter or knitter, and you walk into a yarn store and what do you do? I mean, it can be overwhelming. All right, I have some questions Hannah is sending me. Audrey Jones wants to know if I could sell online for my fans in the UK. Well, Audrey, I can. Um, I can send personalized, like autographed copies if that's what you're asking for. I can do that on a case by case individual basis. My Etsy store is not necessarily set up to handle that. But if you want to contact me at bonniebae@me.com, I can give you an estimate on the postage. And that's the real clincher. Oftentimes, postage outside the US, even just shipping to Canada, it triples the cost for you. And that's the main reason why I don't do that. I do know that the whatever Amazon carries is available to you all there. Um, Amazon UK, Amazon EU in the Europe, and Amazon in Japan. There are a lot of different, regions where my books, especially the print on demand books, are carried worldwide. So you should be able to get them in a physical copy. Uh, Now, the leisure art leaflets, you might have to settle for PDF. But again, if you want me to send something like that to you, contact me personally and I can arrange it, but you're not going to like the cost of the postage, I promise you. Um, I remember sending something to someone in Canada and I think I had to pay close to $30 just to ship it, and the item wasn't even worth 10. So, just something to consider. Uh, yeah. But yeah, I am willing. It's just not real practical, and that's my main reason. And I promise you, I'm not trying to exclude anybody internationally. It's just a matter of practicality here with the cost. Okay, Hannah has another question for me. Says from D. Louise. She says, I have Babies Love Cables, which is the name of a baby blanket design, in my cart, but I want to make it wider and longer. How many change would I have to add, and how much wider would one repeat of the stitch count make it? D, I honestly, I can't really answer that because unlike some of my other designs like these where you're just working on one stitch at a time, in the Babies Love Cables you are working across where the cables are changing in different ways. So that would really require a complete redesign. And I could throw out a number at you, but I don't know what part of the pattern you want to repeat. Um, so that's just not an easy, straightforward question, which unfortunately, some designs are like that. It would just take a complete redesign. If it was another one, I might be able to throw a number out at you, but I really can't with that. You'd really have to draw what you want to keep and what you want to add and what you don't want to add, and all those numbers are going to be different, and it gets really complex. So thanks in advance for understanding that one. And Kelly Hart says, how much should I sell my pot holders for? I need your opinion and suggestions. Mm. Ooh, that's a hard one, Kelly. Um, there's so many things to consider. I could probably I could probably do a whole hour program on how to price your items. And it's a tough one for me because I totally got out of that business end of crochet just because the market, in my opinion, does not support the value of what you are selling. If these, I really would need to be able to look at it and see the quality personally to see, what would I pay. Um, I can tell you what I've seen these for sale for at other events, but that again does not necessarily tell you what the value is. Um, Another thing to consider is when you go to craft fairs and you see what other people are selling, just know that your customers are going to compare prices. And if somebody has their crochet wares extremely cheap, I mean, like, I went to a crochet, not a crochet fair, but a craft fair years ago, and this was the last time that I went to a craft fair just for the sole purpose of selling my crocheted goods. There were people there that had crafts. They were selling scarves for $3. I can't even buy the yarn for that amount to make what I had. I was selling items made of merino wool and silk blends and alpaca, and I had price tags that were $30 and up, 30, 40, $50, which when you consider the price of the yarn was cheap. Other people, having compared to the other tables that were selling their things for $5 and less, walked right by me. They had no interest in spending what I was asking. Again, they didn't understand fiber, they didn't understand quality or any of that. But the bottom line is I didn't sell much. So you really have to you kind of have to balance it out. Do you, if you want to sell a lot of your things, you probably have to price them on the lower end. So that said, I even don't want to, I don't even want to throw a number out at you because I don't want you to think that Bonnie said I should sell these for $5. I don't know what I don't know what people are willing to pay. And unfortunately, the market price that people are willing to pay factors into how much you can make. So bottom line though, if you want to kind of estimate how much you spent for the yarn per each pot holder, and then maybe add what would you like to make on top of that. If you are paying a table fee, you have to try to keep in mind you want to try to at least recoup your table fee, right? So yeah, I could go on and on, Kelly. Maybe if you could contact me, bonniebay@me.com. That is a topic that I'm going to address in the All About Yarn at some point in that series, which is going to run one video per month over a number of months, probably throughout the rest of the year. So I do have that one written down to try to be a little more practical. I do have one recommendation. There is a lady on YouTube, and she has an excellent website and a program to help crocheters to make crochet into a living called the Crochetpreneur. Her name is Pam Grice, Grice. Please look her up online, and she actually addresses that point by point in a much faster and a much better way than I can in this kind of rapid fire situation. So take a look at Pam Grice, the Crochetpreneur. Look her up, and she will be able to help you with what you need specifically, Kelly. Okay, from Sherry Watts, on your, on the mark on my hand, okay, on my finger. She said, put coconut oil on your hands for 10 minutes and wipe off after 10 minutes. It will heal and soften your finger and hands. Well, thank you, Sherry. I appreciate that. I may try some of that. I have been putting some lotion on. But on the other hand, I do want to develop calluses. I mean, it's nice to have nice, smooth fingers, but for playing guitar, I really need to have, hardened calluses on my hands to prevent this in the future. But I may have to look into that. But thank you so much. And from Elizabeth Walker, she says, when it comes to crocheting, I am having issues with holes. How does one get out of their head when seeing the size of holes in the many designs, such as traditional granny squares? I would say, Elizabeth, that as far as the holes in crochet, I would take the opposite approach. I would say embrace the hole. Enjoy the open feel in your crochet. Okay. Case in point, I'm going to go ahead and give you a little sneak peek of something coming in a couple of weeks. When am I? Hold on. Let me tell you exactly when this is coming. I have to bring out my calendar again. Wow, can't believe we're going to be into February very, very soon. Okay, February 13th. Okay, there we go. February 13th, this throw is coming. watching my channel. It's called Palatial Prisms. I think I've shown this to you before, but it is full of holes. It's gloriously full of holes. This is the new design that's coming. And let me just show you the edging of it. Lots. I don't know if you can see the drape in this yarn. No stiff yarn here. This is fingering weight yarn. And I got this yarn from a company called Leither, Leither company. And I met these young folks in New Orleans at the Crochet Guild of America convention this past July. And I fell in love with this. It's this beautiful teal blue, but it has donegal, or those little flecks of color, if you can see that donegal in the yarn. This took 2 hanks of their yarn, and I really enjoy this. I'm wearing a poncho already, but I can wear it as a shawl. It's certainly long enough for that. It is kind of reversible, although the little puffs show up better on one side. But you can also, tie it. It's actually, let me go ahead and do that. It's cool enough in here with the heat off to be able to do this without burning up. I mean, you can tie it in the front as a really fun scarf, or you can look at the Jewel Designs video I did last year and come up with 100 other different ways to wear. But this is a triangular symmetrical shawl. It's not one of the asymmetricals. It's the symmetrical shawl, and it's kind of like a butterfly shape, the way the increases work it out. So it's a very generous shawl. But not to sidestep your question about the holes, but I think that's part of the beauty of crochet and what kind of makes it unique in some ways. I understand, though, wanting to have, solid fabric. I mean, I enjoy doing both, but yeah, crochet, and especially if you ever use or work the arrow stitch, with the treble crochet. That's the question people are always asking me. Well, how do I get rid of the hole with the treble crochet? And my reply is, you don't. You're doing it beautifully as is, and that's just part of the characteristic of the stitching. So anyway, let's see if I have another question. Okay. Let me catch up to some of the chat here. Ooh, I am so far behind. Let me just go ahead and read out. We have Tammy in the chat, Lisa from Iowa, Doodlecraft with that's a name. I'm going to say just Doodlecraft, okay? I'm going to spare you. So glad that you're here. Maybe send me a tutorial on how to say your name. And we have Audrey from Edinburgh and MJB from Louisiana and Leela from Virginia. Hey, neighbor. And Donna from sunny Ohio. And Lisa Turner says, so thankful to you for getting me back into crocheting. Well, welcome home, Lisa. Welcome back. There's so much to see and do in this craft now. And Dawn Anderson, and again, Stephanie, so glad that you're here. And Judy and Christine, she said, hi, Bonnie. I got in touch with the 31 rep because I want to order so much from them. Yeah, Christine, they have a lot of beautiful things. And they have a lot of really pretty leather bags, too. I had to kind of like flee temptation on some of that. Whenever it gets to these natural fibers and suede and leathers, I have to run the other direction or hide my wallet if I can. Okay, MJB wants to know, is it waterproof? That's a really good question. It's the bag, if that's what you're asking about. The bag is, I think it's water resistant, but I don't know that for sure. I would have to ask Terry about that. It is easily cleanable, though. It's not washable in a washing machine or anything like that, but you can wipe it with a damp cloth. It's also very thick, very thick. It's a lot different than those canvasy, fabric type of bags. And we have Judy from, she says it's cold in Brazelton, Georgia. Oh, yeah, my kids in Pittsburgh keep getting snow and they love it. Let's see, we have, oh, thank you again, Hannah, for being there for us. And Beverly from Upper Central North Carolina. Wow. And Janet, she says, I'm thrilled to have been home to catch you live, usually listening in the car. Well, welcome home, Janet. Um, and Norma, she says, hola from Argentina. I'm so glad you're here. Gracias, amigo. Yes, thank you for being here. Right? Sorry, guys. Spanish is awful. I really need to work on it. Um, and let's see. We have a Jane Doe from Bhutan. Wow. Um, and Jacqueline Lafridge says, "Yeah, I know what you mean with the guitar." Yeah, and Jacqueline, these were like very newly strung strings from the last time I played, so they were fresh and sharp and sounded great. I mean, sounded, clear and everything, and tore right into my finger. So, yeah, I need to work on those calluses again so I can get back. Oh, thank you, Mary M. She says, "Love your poncho that you're wearing. Did you make that?" Yeah, this is the is it sapphire alpaca or alpaca sapphire poncho? I forget the name. It has the word sapphire and alpaca in it. Made with pure alpaca. I have a hank right here. Where did it go? It's hiding. There it is. It's made with this yarn that I showed you all last week. I have another batch of it for another surprise. The Pure Alpaca by Cascade Yarns. This I've used this yarn so many times over the years, and I have one in blue. I have one in teal that I made for a video, and I I just love that yarn. This has actually been washed, so it actually felted a little bit the last time I washed it because I was just lazy, but it's fine. I love it. It tightened up the stitches a little bit. They were a little bit loose, and it's just as warm and soft as it was before. So just don't put it in the wash like I did. I put it in a garment bag and it just got a little too agitated. Don't do what I did. I just wasn't thinking. I was in a hurry. So, but anyway. Um, oh, thank you, Hannah. I want to say hello to Maria from Peru. Thank you, Maria, for being in the chat. Um, I so appreciate you being here from so far away. You guys are in summer now, right? Because you're in the southern hemisphere. It's just so wild to think about that. Um, Again, we follow a friend of our someone we feel like he's our friend from Australia on YouTube, and they're in the middle of their summer and dealing with bugs and everything, and it's just kind of wild. They're dealing with the heat and also watching the Australian Open and just trying to keep the players from being overcome by the heat, and we're just trying to stay warm with the winter here. And Audrey, again, thank you so much for your kind donation. And we have Ann Butler from Northwest Indiana. Hey, Ann. And Dee Louise. And, oh, Archer Nay, she says, Bonnie, prayers for our car. It might be a fuel pump. She says, Jesus takes those troubles and makes them okay. Yes. I hope your car gets better, Archer and Ace. I mean, goodness, yeah, I grew up with car problems in our family. It seems our car never would go out of the county without having an issue, so we never went anywhere. But I hope you can get that fixed, and I hope it won't cost too much, too. Um, and Audrey Jones is here, and let's see. There, I'm seeing Maria's comment right now. Gracias. And Lily is here asking about crochet borders. I must have missed something, Lily, but that's okay. Um, okay, and I think I tried to answer D. Louise's question. Yeah. All right, I'm slowly catching up. And Stephanie says she's in southern Texas and it's 50 degrees and that's cold enough for me. Yeah, I remember when I was living in South Florida, when I was a kid, my mom would say, "Oh, it's getting down into the 50s tonight or down into the 60s." And that would have been cold for us living in, Hialeah, which is near Miami. Of course, by the time 2 o'clock rolled around in the afternoon, we're back in shorts and, in sneakers again. But yeah, I hear you. If you're not used to it, it feels a lot colder. Um, what's actually kind of funny is I grew up in Florida, but I've become acclimated to the cooler weather, and I love cold weather. I love wearing, crocheted things all the time, like you guys do. Can't wear much of that in South Florida, but I still made it when I was down there. I love making those things because it gets so cold indoors. They keep the air conditioning on freeze, so I still wore ponchos and sweaters down there. Just FYI, just not the hats and the scarf routine. um, yeah, but I understand. But it's kind of funny because when it's been super cold here, which it hasn't really gotten yet this year, this February is right around the corner. That's when we get our coldest weather. It's funny how once it goes above freezing, it feels like a heat wave, and when it gets into the 40s, it after a cold freeze, it can feel downright tropical. It's just funny how we respond. Uh, Oh, thank you, Linda. Brat's mom says, don't forget to hit that thumbs up. If you can hit the thumbs up, that would be great. Looks like 60 of you have already hit it. Thank you so much. I so appreciate that. Um, Let me tell you about some more things that are happening. Oh, let me back up a bit. Let me back up. I'm getting over my skis here. Um, let me get back to the palatial prisms shawl for a minute. And I did tell you that the Lether company, their website is the Lether LEI. Let me just go ahead and put it down here. I'm going to put it in the chat in case you want to take a look. THER. Hold on a sec. co.com. Okay. I just put the link in the chat. Um, Now, I wanted to also mention that when I met them in New Orleans, this woman's husband makes the most beautiful handcrafted crochet handles I've ever seen. Of course, what I mean, it's like these specially carved wood, all different colors. And of course, the hook is it's permanently implanted into the handle. And he can make these for inline or tapered style hooks. So, in other words, if you're a Susan Bates or a Boy fan, either of those, he can make these beautiful handles. So, if you go to the Lether Company's site, and definitely check out their beautiful yarn, tell them Bonnie sent you. There's no affiliate link or anything. I'm just a friend helping another friend here on this. But check out their handcrafted crochet hooks. They start at about $35, which for something that's handmade and not factory created, that's pretty amazing. But anyway, I just wanted to put a plug in for those wooden handles because they make beautiful yarn or dye beautiful yarn, and they make the most amazing crochet handles and crochet hooks using the hooks that you know what I'm saying that you're already familiar with. Another thing I wanted to mention before the time got away from me is I will be having a beginning crochet class and a book signing February 11th. That's a Saturday. It's coming up on about 2 weeks. And February 11th from 10 to 11, I will be at So Original. They are at 6655 Dobbin Road, Suite A in Columbia, Maryland. And then that's just for an hour, 10 to 11. And then after that, a class, 11 to 1. Space is limited. I didn't say last week, if you want to sign up, if you're in the area, you need to contact So Original. You can contact them online. I don't have the, let me just put the link right here too. Let me get my glasses back on so I can see what I just did. Gior. I can't spell. OR. Okay, sooriginal.com. I just put that there. If you're interested in signing up, I think I can take six, total of six, and that's it, because we want to have some spacing there, and it's a tight area. So it's it's for beginning. It's for absolute beginners, people who know nothing about crochet. So if you're in the area, that's 11 to 1. And if you're looking for a book signing, I'll have most of my books with me. That's going to be from 10 to 11 on Saturday, February 11th. That's over again on Dobbin Road in Columbia, Maryland. And I have some new things to show you. I've shown you the one before, but I'm going to show it to you again. This is coming soon. I don't have a specific date for it. It's a very easy design. It's a cowl, and it's using an easy, I think it's an easy repeat, but if you've never learned the woven stitch, it's a good way to learn the woven stitch. It's made with only one hank of yarn. So if you have like a crazy color hank of sock weight or fingering weight yarn, and you in your stash, and you are wondering, why in the world did I ever buy this? It's for this project. So go ahead and take it out, and it's just one of those easy repeat projects that really shows off the colors. You can combine it with your other things. You can add this to a boring solid color top, and you just have a little bit of a pop of color as you go out the door, and it's going to keep you nice and warm. And especially that space that your jacket maybe doesn't always close up, you can just keep a little bit warmer with this. Works up quickly. So that's coming soon. And I got this yarn from a company called 29 Studio. Is it 29?
Okay, is there something I can help you with?
No, Siri. Siri's listening to me again. Oh well. And after I show you this, I have an absolute surprise for you. I was not planning on doing this one. This kind of evolved. I was using some yarn that was in my stash. I had this in mind to make, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I really, really enjoyed doing this. It was a fun journey. And it's a good project, and it's coming soon. I'm gonna bump this up higher in the months or the weeks to come. I'm calling this the Celtic Star Baby Blanket, and I just love this ombre yarn. It's Red Heart Super Saver. There's nothing terribly soft about this yarn. Let me show you the picot or edging. It's not picot. It's eyelet edging. So this took two skeins of the yarn, or a little bit less than two. And it's one of those things you can make it as big or as small as you want. Again, the Celtic Star Baby Blanket. This is coming in a few weeks. So hang in there. And let me just say something about the yarn, because a lot of people criticize Red Heart yarn. Oh, it's not soft. It's not this. It's not that. And they're right. On the other hand, if it's something for a baby, this is not something that goes directly on the baby's skin. This is something that you cover the baby who's already got clothes on. So it's not coming, it's not like a shirt for the baby or an undershirt or anything. But it's going to be nice and warm, and this is going to wash and dry, and it's going to survive. If you have those yarns that are super soft, they feel great and they look great for a little while. But if you have to wash them, you have to be so careful with them. Just FYI. And that's the advantage of going with what I would like to call a workhorse kind of an acrylic yarn. For baby blankets, I don't consider much else, beyond, the cotton bamboo acrylic. That's pretty much what I would do for baby stuff. And I've been criticized for that. People are welcome to their opinions, but I like something after having 5 babies, by the grace of God. Anything that can be washed and dried, and washed and dried and washed and dried and washed and dried and survive, because new moms are not going to have time to piddle around with all these extra care requirements of fancy yarn projects. So the acrylics are great. Red Heart rocks that kind of thing. Same with the Caron 1 pounder. I don't crochet a lot with them these days, but they are really good substitutes for, if you find yarn that's been processed well, and not, there are some issues. Okay, there are some issues with those yarns. Yes, I won't get into all that here, but generally speaking, the workhorse yarns are the way to go. So at least in my humble opinion, maybe not so humble opinion about that. I can get real opinionated, but again, and I would even put some of these other yarns that I've been using, the paint box yarns. I would put that into that category. Although I like the paint box, I think it's a better quality. And as far as the universal, the worsted yarn that I've been using from Universal Yarns is also, it's a little pricier. I think the quality is just better, but it's also in that, I think, the workhorse kind of category. It can be washed and dried, just like I said about the Red Heart yarns. Okay, so Hannah's got some more questions here for me. And Hannah wants to know, what are some good websites to check out on crochet fairs and festivals? That's an excellent question, but it's really too big for me to answer because a lot of the really good ones they tend to be local and regional. So if I'm not from your area, I wouldn't know about all the good festivals. Like if you're in Pittsburgh, I've been to the Pittsburgh Creative Arts Festival, which is a yarn festival. Um, After having been there, I can say definitely go. There are some of us teach there, but the marketplace was wonderful. It was very comprehensive. Interweave, again, before you look at these places online, you can usually look at these festivals online and see how many vendors are coming. If you have like 3 vendors, you might want to save your money and go somewhere else, because you might want to go where there's a variety of vendors who are going to be there. Um, in my area, the Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival is actually nationally renowned for one of the biggest. There is one in New York called Rhinebeck. I've never been to it, but I've heard it's massive. Um, Again, the Frederick Fiber Festival is much smaller, the one I'm going to be participating with, but it's also very good. I've met some great people. I've gotten some great yarn there. Um, but again, that's again fantastic question. Um, the the CGOA, or Crochet Guild of America, is another one. Generally, the market hasn't been as big as fiber festivals, but it's been very great as far as camaraderie with other crocheters. It's not occurring this year, but hopefully it will get back on the schedule in 2024. Um, I have not been to the Texas, what's it called, DFW, Dallas Fort Worth Fiber Festival. I have not been to that, but I've heard it's again very, very good. Have not been to it again, and there are some others that advertise a lot that are humongous, cater more towards knitting, like Vogue and Stitches. Again, I have not been to Stitches, so I don't really want to speak about endorsing or anything in that regard. I've been to the Vogue Knitting Live, which was an experience. Probably won't do that again. But I didn't really get a chance to do much of the activities, but the marketplace was very crowded, which um, wasn't that much fun for me. But it's just massive, and it's pricey to get into, so you have to weigh some of those things. All right, I hope that. And if you have any other questions, please email me. But I would just do a quick Google search and put your state in with the search, and maybe you can find out some local things happening. Um, and Debbie Lewis wants to know, any advice for us, excuse me, who struggle with crocheting cables? More practice, I guess. Um, that's a good question, Debbie. I would have to. I think that's one of those things where um, you'd have to probably sit down with somebody and have someone look at what you're doing, or you could even do if you can have someone hold the video and do a quick video and send it to me, to bonniebay@me.com, and I can take a look at the video and I can give you um, my quick impression of what might be happening. Um, yeah, that's where one-on-one really does help. And Stephanie has a great question here. One of the questions that I do hope to answer with the yarn series coming up says, what is sock yarn or what is sock weight? So many people define it differently. Um, okay, my definition from what I see with the information out there. Okay, sock weight is also given the number one as far as the size, and the smaller the number, the thinner the yarn. So the thinnest would be 0, and that would be lace weight yarn. A number one is also called sock weight, or it's called fingering weight. They're just two synonyms that are used to say the same thing, and other people may define it differently. But also keep in mind that, as far as I know, the numbering system is pretty unique to the US. There are a lot of places abroad that don't use the numbering system, but they use words instead, such as fingering, worsted, Aaron, DK, sport. I mean, there are a lot of different words, and I understand because I've had to learn this myself. I understand how confusing that is, and that's why I think something on a yarn series all about yarn is needed. How do you store your yarn? How do you handle your yarn? How do you buy yarn? How do you know which is the right yarn and which is the wrong, and whatever? There are a lot of questions out there. Um, I'm reading Hannah's. Okay, and Joni says, I just received a yarn called Kaboo. Wanted to know any ideas for that cotton yarn. Is that, if I'm not mistaken, that's a Lion brand yarn, and is that a blend of cotton and bamboo? I think that's what that is. You can always contact me again, bonniebay@me.com. It really would help me to know how thin the yarn is. Is it a number three? Is it a number two? Is it a worsted weight yarn? Um, that might be a good yarn to make a summer sweater or a summer pullover, maybe a summer shawl for, when the air conditioning is just a bit too cool. So lots of possibilities there. Um, oh, thank you, Elder. Hannah sent me your comment, just saying, hey, first time into one of your live streams, just wanted to take a moment to say I love your tutorials and they have been very helpful to me. You have such beautiful. Thank you, Elder. That is so kind of you to say that. Thank you so much. I do appreciate it. And welcome, 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 welcome. We are so glad you're here. I'm sorry I haven't gotten to so many more comments. Again, I'm not leaving anybody out on purpose. It's just stuff happens when you go live, and there's so much to talk about and to do. Let me just see. Oh, look at this. There's a somebody in the chat called Yarning for a Smile. That is a wonderful name. I love that. Um, and let's see. Thank you, Hannah. You're doing a great job. And Jeannie, my friend from my Proverbs 31 woman, so good to see you in the chat, my dear. I hope you all are doing well and staying warm. My kids are telling me it's been pretty chilly in your area there, if I'm remembering where you are. But stay warm, and I hope to see you again. Hope to see you in PA this year. Um, I'm hoping I get to go. We'll see how that goes. Um, all right, I'm not going to interfere with the conversations. We have, is it Bacane, Hawaii? She says it's 42 here in North Carolina. Yeah, that's cold. Wow. Uh, ugh. Okay, I'm going to go backwards a bit. And Love to Craft says, glad I finally was able to catch a live chat. I had gone to my daughter's 2 Fridays in a row to spend time with my grandson. Oh, you are blessed, my friend. What a blessing. And thank you, Anne. She says Kaboo is 51% cotton, 49% bamboo. And she says corner to, was it CYC, Craft Yarn Council, a number 3. Yeah, okay, thank you. Thank you for that information, Anne. Um, let's see. Stephanie says, geez, or I need to start a spreadsheet on all the definitions. Actually, they have those out there. You can Google it. You can Google yarn weights, and you will get a chart with all the different words that all the different people use on that. It's a little nuts, but that's just the way it is. And we have. I'm so glad to see all you guys. Well, you know what? It is 1 o'clock. Oh, we have Denise in the chat. I'll give a quick shout out to Denise and Margita and oh yes, Michelle. I was just reading through my prayer list this morning and you were on it. She says, before I forget, oh, this is going to be good. I want to thank everyone for the prayers over our daughter who had a massive stroke 2 weeks ago. She is surprising her therapist with walking and trying to talk. Michelle, thank you, thank you. I was actually going to contact you today. I didn't know if I had your contact information or not because I generally don't hang on to that. But that is good news. I've been praying about her. I mean, just even more so because I have children who are the age of childbearing and so forth, and you've been on my heart a lot. I'm so glad. I do have your email. So thank you for telling us that. And y'all, those of you out there in the community who are praying people, please pray. Pray to Jesus for Michelle's family, just for continued healing and yeah. Oh, that is so good, so good. I feel a part of this because I know God is answering our prayers. So I just pray for continued uh, healing in all areas there. All right, we have Megan. She said, I was going to go to the Pittsburgh Creative Arts Festival to take a class, but then I got COVID, so I couldn't go. Hoping you come to Pittsburgh again. Well, Megan, if they pick up my classes, I'm reliant on that. If they will pay me to come and to teach, I will definitely be there. I have some other things going on that same time of the year coming up, which I can't say right now. But if they pick up my classes, I've already submitted many of them to choose from. I will do everything I can to be there. And I understand about getting COVID because I was at a conference in July in New Orleans and I picked up COVID. I brought it home with me. So I understand. And once you get that bug, you can't do a whole lot for a while. So, and Elder said also, Hannah sent me another comment. Elder said, I'm still new to crochet yet, but maybe you guys can help me. I can't read written patterns yet. There are so many symbols and weird acronyms. Is there a good place to learn this stuff? Absolutely. Is it Eldar? I said your name wrong. I'm sorry, Eldar. Definitely, what I would recommend that you do is get an easy pattern. I actually, this is not, I'm not trying to sell you something you don't need, I promise. I do have a book. You see the book right here behind me. Is for beginners. You can get that on Amazon I actually reduced the price 20%. It's like 19.95 or something like that for the physical book. And the patterns are simplified. They are designed for beginners, someone who, like you, who's not used to reading all the symbols. But what I have in each what I have is a very short list of abbreviations you need to learn. But you need to maybe approach it from a different way instead of being afraid of it. Look at it like texting. I promise you, it's harder for me to understand some of the texts that people send out there and their acronyms they use than it is for me to read the crochet abbreviations. There's really maybe 5 or 6 that you ever truly need to know, and the rest you can look them up per pattern and figure out what they are saying. But the book that I have behind me has the written patterns for 18 different designs. They start out easy and progressively get a little bit more challenging for you because I know you don't want to be bored doing the same thing the whole time or on and on and on again. But you can follow a complete video tutorial. So I'm explaining to you what to do as you read. And I do have a couple of videos on my homepage on how to read the crochet language. Of course, it's like just look at it as being in kindergarten, and I don't mean that in a demeaning way at all. But you learn step by step, and the more you read, the more you understand. So I think if you start with simple patterns, and then Just don't be in too much of a hurry to jump into the deep end of the pool, but just little by little, learn a new skill here and there. And if you can see what it looks like on paper, I think it'll jump off the page at, and you're like, oh, that's so easy. After a while, just approach it like texting, okay? And again, I promise you, after a little bit of practice, it's easier than texting because it's much more standardized than all these, ROLF, all these acronyms they have out there. I have to look at my kids and I'm like, what does that mean? Just use your words, Although my kids, honestly, get as frustrated with that as I do. They were taught how to write words with punctuation. They write sentences. Hannah writes sentences. We don't get into a lot of the text speak. So maybe that's why it's so much harder for me. Anyway, old school here. I just want to make sure real quick here. Do we have any other new people that I haven't seen? Okay. Oh, Tanike's here. It's so good to see you in the chat too, my friend. I hope you are doing well. She says, "Hi, Hannah. Yes, it is 4:45 a.m. here. So going back to sleep now. Shall catch up with rest of session at a more reasonable time. Have fun, everyone." Oh my goodness, I didn't realize she was in the chat. And yeah. All right. Well, let me go ahead. If I missed your comment, I apologize. I will go back and review once I'm done. But again, I'm not including anybody on purpose. I just time just seems to fly when I'm sitting with you guys. I wanted to read something to you. I was really affected by this week. I'm in a new Bible study now with some wonderful, wonderful ladies. So, and this is the passage that we've been studying for a while and just picking it apart. And I just love the whole topic. It's out of 1 John chapter 1. And I'm going to start with verse 5 and end the chapter. Okay. And I'll just say that this is a letter that the Apostle John, remember Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Well, anyway, John, who was very close to Jesus, and when he's writing this towards the end of his life, and I believe at the time that he wrote this, he is the only living witness to all that he's writing about, and to to a lot of to seeing Jesus walk the earth and everything. So he lived a much longer time than a lot of the other apostles. So he is the last one surviving, and he's writing this to those who he loves, and I think we would be included in this as well. "This is the message we have heard from him and proclaimed to you, that God is light, and in him is no darkness at all. If we say we have fellowship with him, that is God, while we walk in darkness, we lie and do not practice the truth. But if we walk in the light, as he is in the light, we have fellowship with one another, and the blood of Jesus, his Son, cleanses us from all sin. If we say we have no sin, we deceive ourselves, and the truth is not in us. If we confess our sins, he is faithful and just to forgive us our sins and to cleanse us from all unrighteousness. If we say we have not sinned, we make him a liar, and his word is not in us." Well, I hope that encourages you this week, and I hope you have a wonderful week. Stay warm, and I hope to see you all here next week. God bless. Bye-bye.